Or is this?
All right, folks, another episode. It is our meetup on Zoom. Zoom up, zoom, zoom. My buddy Scott is here. My name is Michael Huggins. We are your host today. How's it going, Scott?
Good, man. I already screwed up the recording right there. That little blip in the beginning. Wondering how many we've had. What are we on? What number are we on here?
I think we're on episode 85 now. I think we're just
85.
cruising.
15 more, baby. 15 more. We go on summer vacation like teachers. I'm
Summer
excited.
vacation in March, folks. When you make the
Yes.
rules, you make the rules. All right, so the reason we're making these videos is to bring you stories of transformation from our community using our real estate processes and ecosystem, and in hopes to inspire you to get off the couch, face your fears, chase your dreams, and join us. Take control of your life, stop living a life by default, and start living a life by design. And the students and everyone that we've been featuring are doing just that, building that life by design. And so go check out past episodes and then also some live events in the future. Get back with the person that invited you here so you can come to those. What else, Scott?
And remember, real estate has risks. So make sure you're dotting the I's and crossing the T's. One of the reasons that we are doing these Zoom ups is so you can get introduced to a community that has been doing stuff. We've been in this building for like 14 years doing stuff together. So you want to make sure that you're doing it honestly, ethically, and right. So you're not you're not in harm's way as far as financials. The next thing you should do, if for some reason this resonates with you, or you want to know, man, how do I find out more information about this group? Go back and then talk to the person who invited you and ask them for an intro meeting. Hey, I want to get to an intro meeting for details, or a property tour. You can actually see some of the students doing deals that have started with our group, or get to a workshop or an intensive. We have a couple coming up that you might want to check out on credit and taxes. So good stuff coming up.
Oh yeah, so stay plugged in. These experiences of transformation can totally change the trajectory of your life if you show up coachable and you use the information that we're giving you. We want to make this, a very low barrier of entry, because people like me, I wouldn't have had that chance if it wasn't for a community like this. I was barely making.
Why? What were you doing?
I was changing oil for a living. I was working at Jiffy Lube and Sears Tire Center. I was making $9.50 an hour, and I was struggling. I was drowning in debt and living in my girlfriend's mom's basement, eating one meal a day. So to get into the world I'm in now of real estate and doing dozens of deals, I now own a big piece of land. We're doing a tiny home project. I'm loving it. That wouldn't have been possible without this community.
Let me tell you something about the phenom Michael Huggins you're listening to right now. He lives on 265 acres. He has not even explored his entire backyard yet. And when he does, he finds cabins and motorcycles. It's incredible.
I found some unique things back here. But it's because of this community and this experience. And so I want that for you. All of you watching it here live, catching the recording. There is so much abundance out there that if you could just focus on it and we can show you more about how to use our system, you would have that abundance in your life too. So stay with us, link arms with us, and continue to come to these events. Cool. All right, now, thank you, Scott. We do have entire episodes dedicated to my story and Scott's story in the playlist, so you can go check those out. I was a bum and started creating something amazing. Scott was already amazing, making almost $250,000 a year. And then he totally lost his job and went from that to unemployed overnight.
Yeah, and technically you were doing better than I was changing oil. That's some perspective, isn't it?
It really is. Yeah.
And listen, let me tell you something. I look, Michael Huggins he was in a nobody. He was in the top 10 of the chaos video game world, right? Like that guy spent hours in front of a video game. So there is hope. Parents, if you have kids and you want change for your kids, Michael Huggins is a fantastic possibility. So went from video game phenom, Jiffy Lube, to doing what he's doing today. It's pretty incredible.
You know what? I got to say one real thing. I was also a Jiffy Lube phenom. I was in the Jiffy Lube All-Stars. We were in the top ranked. We were. Oh my gosh. Anyway, all right. Silliness. Dominating everywhere we go. Okay. I just need to be empowered. Speaking of empowerment, the lady who we're featuring today, she was empowered by our process. I remember her and her husband came and looked at this and they were like, this can't be real. And they tried to go home and break the system that we showed them and poke holes in everything. And they're like, no, can't be real. And then finally, after several days of frustration, they said, maybe this is real. You want to add anything to that, Scott?
Yeah, you know what? Fortunately for you and me, we get to interact with these guys, her and her husband, on a weekly basis up in Seattle. We're cranking that market up for everybody. And now they're market leaders up there doing a ton of stuff. And again, yes, Kip, her husband, probably more than Lora, was like, this is bull crap. I'm a numbers guy. And he ran the numbers, ran it by all of his engineers at work, and they couldn't break the velocity banking stuff we were doing. So if you want to turn the tables on the bank, Kip's already tried. So tried to break it. So it's now working. These guys will tell you, but please help me welcome one of our market leaders out of Seattle, Lora Brown, everybody.
Lora Brown.
Thanks, Mark, or thanks, Scott, and thanks, Michael. I appreciate that. Yeah, we did. I came into this as what I describe myself as a married single mother of three. My husband, Kip, was traveling the world with his corporate job. And literally, when I say traveling the world, he was spending, I bet his best year, if you will, was 291 nights in a Marriott. Now that doesn't count the 48 hours of flying on either end of those types of scenarios. He was in Europe for over 3 years. And so I introduced myself as a married single mother of three for quite a long time, which really upset him, but there wasn't really much. It was the total truth. And I decided that if something should happen to him while he was traveling, that our family was in dire need of having somebody to support them. And I was a stay-at-home mom because somebody had to raise our family and take care of things at home while he was traveling. And I wanted to do real estate. And he kept telling me, we don't know enough. There's absolutely no way that we know enough. Even though we had built our own home from scratch, developed land, had remodeled every house that we had done, he's like, yeah, we do not know enough to make a business of this. And I'm like, how exactly am I supposed to get enough information for you to be comfortable with this? And so I went on a mission. And that is how I discovered this group and this community and the classes that I could take at home while my kids were in school. And, honestly, it truly was perfect for me. And there was a laundry list of things for me to do that whatever I was going to do had to meet. And it was fantastic that I found something that literally met just about every single thing on there. And it launched us. We went from 0 to 60 very quickly, because once Kip got on board, and as you said, he went through that process of trying to break the strategy that I knew was going to save us more money in the first 5 years than I could get a business up and rolling and making money, that he was like, well, if we're going to do this, then let's do it. And literally within 4 months, we were in our first deal. And we had 2 rentals purchased about 4 months after that. And literally, we've been on a trajectory of just making whatever we want happen from that point on. I mean, we've been part of 17 fix and flips. We have 7 rental properties. We now have 2 short-term rentals that have been going for about a year, and I'm building another one out in Texas next week, actually. So, we do what we want at this point in time, and we have plans to do and make a short-term rental empire, if you will, but that works for us. Ultimately it works for whatever you want it to work for. If you want 100 doors, then you can go out and get 100 doors. If you want 2 and be able to pay off your debt and live debt free, you can do that. And that's what I love about it is that it literally can be tailored to whatever you want, and the information's at your fingertips to be able to do it.
Excellent. So when you were on your exploration and you finally found us, what was something that you were other than this velocity banking thing, what was something else where you're like, you know what, I want to be around this group constantly? What was that?
Well, I think it was the fact that if I had a question, I had somebody that I could talk to that wasn't just picking it out of a phone book, right? If I needed to have somebody that was in the trades that I needed to have a referral from, then I could talk to somebody about that. If I had a question about a contract and I needed to have a brain trust, if you will, with others about local laws and those types of things, then I could ask if I didn't know it. So, I mean, ultimately it was that kind of scenario that I had people there that I could connect with, that I could build relationships with, and ultimately find who I would like to do business with and go from there, instead of literally, as I said, picking it out of a phone book, because I'd done that. I had spent a lot of time with contractors that would show up 4 months later on my doorstep and say, sorry, we went out of business and here's your plans back. We thought maybe we'd give them back to you. And you'd be like, and you couldn't told me that a little sooner because I've been trying to get this taken care of, you know, when we were doing our house building and rehabbing and things like that. So when you can connect with people, that's ultimately the glue, if you will, to it all. You can make all the pieces come together, but the glue is really the community.
Nice. Well said.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
I got a question. Glue, we like glue. Hey, listen, I know it's personal, but I think one of the coolest things about these Zoom ups is that they're pretty diverse, right? There's a huge spectrum of folks that have joined us and worked with us with different scenarios or situations. One girl, Candace Adams, you know, she actually started her career in a hospital bed because she had fallen out of a helicopter with the Army, right? So she was literally bedridden, working her way back up to walking. And I know that you went through some health issues, right? So I don't know, like, I'm just asking because did being an entrepreneur and or real estate investor help you in that, or did it? I mean, you tell us. I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah. So 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor the size of a navel orange in my right frontal lobe, which you can see maybe a little bit. Usually people have to look fairly carefully that I'm missing my skull right there. And literally in 15 days, our world got turned upside down. I had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease because of the effects that the tumor was having for about a year up until that point. And, you know, honestly, you know, when you get hit with that kind of information, you have no idea how life is going to proceed from one moment to the next. And I have to say that the information that we got through our classes allowed us to be stable, pay for all of our medical bills, get them all paid off in a very short period of time, and allowed us to have our family stable during that period of time, which honestly, we didn't expect the strategy to be able to do that. And when that occurred, it was 1 month of, and then we were able to keep going. We bought 4 rentals about 6 months after that. You know, after I was recovering and doing that. So we continued to do real estate through it, and it has changed our whole financial situation as far as how we look at money, what we can do with it, and how to utilize it so that we're using it, not the banks and not the lenders. You know, we paid off cars early. We've paid for all sorts of different things, you know, and it has also, I mean, we bought 6 of our rentals free and clear using the strategy. So it really, truly is fabulous in that regard. And so, yeah, I mean, it took me a year and our community came together like, you know, when I say glue, it was like super glue. I mean, there were people from all walks of life that came from all over the country that supported us through that whole scenario. And I have never had an issue with anybody not being completely supportive as far as that goes, giving me the time to recover, come back and be able to start speaking in front of people again, and doing the things that I always knew I could do, but for some reason just wasn't working right for a while.
Got it. Yeah, there was a huge change, right? I mean, the difference between when you, I mean, I knew before the surgery and after the surgery, it's like night and day Laura Brown. It's like completely different. So that
I
thing
have
was
to say that, you know, there was one time, Michael, that I honestly, at one of our events, I could not remember your name to save my soul. And I was like, of all the things to have forgotten, I cannot forget Michael's name. He's going to give me that look like, Laura, really?
I forget Michael's name all the time, so it's by choice.
Hey, you.
Hey, dude.
Oh, man.
Hey,
Well,
I got another question. Go ahead, Michael. We'll switch off. Go ahead.
I just wanted to acknowledge your transformation, because it's not just a financial transformation that happens here, although we do highlight that quite a bit. But we have a well-rounded approach inside of our community and inside of our ecosystem around faith, family, fitness, finance, and fun. And so, yes, we talk a lot about finance, but you know, Laura's fitness and her family have also totally transformed through this experience too. I remember in one of the workshops we held recently, there was like these before and after pictures of what you had done with your body as well.
Mm-hmm.
And to have that strength and that power foundationally in your body. And then also, I heard you had 6 rentals free and clear. Now that kind of foundation and strength there, and you're building it up. It's amazing to see in such a short time. So I just wanted to acknowledge and congratulate you for that. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Scott.
I lost 50 pounds right after starting surgery. You want to talk about, people putting you at straitjackets. Just tell them you're going on a detox for a nutritional thing right when you're going in for a brain surgery, and they'll be like, yeah, no, you're not going to do that. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of am. It's kind of important. And I lost 10 pounds in the first 11 days, and that just launched me. I was like, man, I'm not going to go backwards now. And yeah, and I have it, it's still off and it's still going every day. I work out every day for an hour because it's my therapy, if you will, my brain therapy.
Yeah, beautiful.
All right, I got a question. And listen, I know that Kip, your husband, when we were in Seattle, he was handling the Velocity Banking meeting. Had a great. He used to articulate fantastically what you guys were able to do with your first mortgage. And there might be a lot of people watching this are like, yeah, how's this going to help me now? So the immediate effects on the one strategy called Velocity Banking. Can you give us an idea about that? I mean, Kip does a great job at it, but can you talk about that mortgage and how fast you got it taken care of?
Yeah, so when we literally, when I saw the Velocity Banking strategy, I saw it in intensive, just like the ones that are coming up, right? They finally invited me to one that I was able to come to because Kip always planned something for the family to go do every time I had one of these events. And so it took me a couple of them to get to it. And finally, it was close enough to home that I could get there and get back in time for dinner. And it was about Velocity Banking. And I was like, well, I don't know anything about this, but I'm going to go check it out because I need to check it out. And I came home and it was like, hey, this is the strategy. I found it. We're going to pay off our house. And as you said, Kip was like, yeah, you're full of Kool-Aid. Like, what on earth are you talking about? And I'm like, no, seriously, I've run the numbers. I handled all of our family's finances at that point in time. I was like, this will work. Like, this will work and it'll work big. And in the first 18 months, so basically it took us 30 days to get all of our situations set to implement the strategy. We used a HELOC. And so when we started on that 30-day mark, I was already talking to banks by the time I was watching the classes. I'm like, I know how to implement this, and I just need to get the steps. In the first 18 months, we had saved over we didn't pay the bank. I need to clarify that. We didn't pay the bank $113,000 of interest on our mortgage. And our numbers were on a trajectory to pay off our mortgage in 9 years and 11 months from the time we refinanced, which was a year before we actually implemented the strategy. And as I said, we've used the strategy to pay off 2 cars 3 years early each. We paid for our education using it. I mean, in 4 months, we had paid off our education for being able to have all the classes available to us at our fingertips. So literally, and to date, Kip says, I don't even keep track of the numbers anymore because the interest savings that we have had using the strategy is well over $200,000. And it just keeps going up, right? Because once you know how to think, I mean, that's what's great about it is it teaches you how to think, not just following steps, which are great, but it teaches you how to think. So once you understand how to think about your finances and how to use the strategy, you can use it for anything and everything. And the math, as Kip always loves to say, the math will tell you what to do. And once you understand how to do the math and how to think about the math, then you can utilize that strategy to do absolutely fantastic things. Everybody in the world should know about that strategy. I had friends that actually had the audacity to tell me when I shared it with them that they were like, yeah, I knew about that before. And I'm like, we've been friends for 11 years and you didn't seem to feel the need to share that with me. Really?
Right.
Like, don't even go there right now. Like, and we haven't really spoken to them since.
Right. You can't keep a good thing like this a secret.
Right. Seriously. Like, why on earth would you not share with people that, they could do things like that?
Yes, amazing. Another reason why Scott and I are sharing these and making these videos. We cannot keep this a secret. It is too good. We see too much pain and challenges out in the world to just let that stuff go by. And so, yeah, we've been beating that drum for over a decade now, helping people. And so, thank you for helping us with that as well up in the Washington area. Amazing. So the chat is blowing up. Lots of congratulations, lots of wows, lots of we love you, amazing stories. So you're impressing people, and I think this is going to be a great recording for everyone else. Anything we want to add to this before we wrap it up, Scott?
I'm good. And listen, how long? Let's just sum this up. How long you been working with the group?
I got educated. I got my education in November of 2016.
Okay.
So just coming up on 4 years.
Okay. And what? So how many deals have you done? How many fix and flips, and how many doors do you have?
So we've done 17 fix and flips.
Okay.
We have 7 rental properties that are the more of the traditional level, and then
And
we
6
have,
of them are paid off, and 6 are paid off, right?
actually all 7 of them are free and clear.
Nice.
Okay, so that's important for you guys. In 4 years, never having done real estate, her husband telling her, "There's no way we're gonna do this because we don't know anything about it." 4 years, 17 fix and flips, and 7 paid off rental properties. See,
That's
And then,
amazing.
I've had a total of, I worked on, I have 2 short-term rentals that are blowing up as well. And I'm helping build out a 4th one, and I sold another one, or was, part owner of that one. So I did a couple different strategies with that.
Cool.
glad we got that in there.
Today, probably, I mean, the you 4 years ago probably doesn't even recognize the you today. Right? You probably,
No,
different.
probably not. My family just still can't believe it. They still are like, yeah, really, you're doing that thing? And I was like, yeah.
It's like a thing. It's a monster. That thing.
Yeah. You got that thing where you're like improving yourself
The
and
thing
getting
where
that-
you're doing really good. You got that thing. I'm gonna be going to work. Tell me about it later.
Yeah. They always are calling me and going like, oh man, work is brutal because I work in retail, or, those types of things. And, it's like, man, I can't get away to visit you while you're home visiting and that kind of stuff. And it's like,
You know what I
Well-
say to that? You know what I say to that? I'm like, well, you have choice.
Yeah.
I mention it quite often, actually. And they're like, oh, but
Yeah.
Okay.
people have a hard time breaking through what they fear, or the unknown. I
Sure.
tend to be one of those people that jump into the unknown as quickly as possible a lot of times, just because that's who I am. I like different experiences. I know my own confidence and what I can and capable of doing. I just need to have the right tools and the right knowledge to back me, and then it's all mine to bake.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to encourage you, keep going. Don't give up on your friends. I got a friend here on the line here live. It took me 5 years of working in front of her before she decided, all right, I'm going to do this too. So, sometimes it's just a matter of time. So keep up the great work. Thank you for supporting the community. Congratulations on your deal. We're so happy that you're healthy and on your way to an amazing recovery. And yeah,
I love when good people have good things happen. It's good.
it's a beautiful thing.
All right, so stick around. We're gonna have a couple of bonus questions real quick for the crew that's on here. So if for some reason you're watching this recording, get to one of our live ones for the next 15 sessions, because then I'm going on break.
Yep.
So, all right, thank you, Laura.
Thank you very
You
much.
bet, guys. I appreciate you offering to have me on.
Yeah, you've done well. And folks, for those of you who are catching this recording or you're here live, it is now your opportunity to get back with the person that got you here and request a private invitation to our intro, our house tour, or a workshop. These are by invite only, so you do need to be registered in order to attend. But that's your next action step here. So with that, we will wrap this one up. Stay around for the bonus, and have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye now.